Here we go. What am I calling this one, though? I usually say welcome to East Coast DNA. Welcome to East Coast DNA presents Giantstock with Travis Pettipas.
Hello, y'all.
You could tell by his reaction that we came up with that right on the spot. So, Travis, thank you for sitting with me for a little bit today.
Thanks, Darce. Happy to be here.
So many people that would be watching this are probably familiar with Travis Pettipas being a member of Andre Pettipas and the Giants. I don't believe we've actually ever had you on an episode, just photographs and some of the social media posts out there.
Oh, I like to keep a mystique going for me.
Some of the most popular photographs that I've ever posted, by the way. So
Thank you. I work hard on my legs.
now, for people that are fans of you through the band, just to be clear, you've been with Andre all along because you're his brother.
My whole life,
But
sadly.
were you also in the odd bit then?
I was, yeah. I started out with Andre, I think in 2012. So, yeah, 12 years going and no signs of stopping, I don't think.
And at the point that you would have been starting to perform with Andre, were you already playing bass or were you playing guitar before that? Or where did you start getting into your own musical stylings?
So, I did start on bass. Andre had a friend that was in a punk band. He played bass, and I don't know, I just thought it was cool. And he was selling his bass one year, and I guess I didn't have anything better for Christmas, so my parents got me the red bass. Just didn't see too much playing, and I put it out in the rain one day, and that was that.
And now I'm someone that's been around you quite a bit, so I know a little bit about you already, but where does Rush come into play? Because for your age, it's not common to be a big Rush fan, but it's not that unusual either being a Canadian. That's a good Canadian band to stand behind. But where does it come from for you?
I think initially I was actually really into Kiss, and just, I guess for some reason, and I didn't even know at the time, but they used to tour like pretty regularly together, and I don't know, like Gene Simmons was a big thing, and I just heard Rush one day, and I was like, yeah, this is my jam.
And I'm surprised by the Kiss thing because we've never actually talked about that.
Never,
There's
no.
a lot of history with me as well. I've seen them a few times live.
Nice.
So the Gene Simmons connection, was that a bass thing as well then? Or was it just because he looks cool as hell?
I don't know where the Kiss thing came from, to be perfectly honest, but he definitely was the one that I was drawn to in
Yeah.
that band. Just the animal thing, the antics, the blood, the swords.
Detroit Rock City, the movie.
That's probably it here.
Visual
We'll get a
references.
close-up on this. If,
We got props off
if
to
nobody's
the
seen
side.
that one, it's great.
I could see that. My age difference makes it feel like it doesn't fit properly, but if I do math properly, I could see how that might have had a little bit of an influence too.
Definitely. No, now that Andre reminded me, thanks. My older brother.
You got to
He's
keep
out for
him around somewhere in the background.
this. Yeah. No, we definitely watched that movie probably 800 times.
And now we had referenced on an early episode of East Coast DNA, back when my brother was still my co-host. You had a single that you had released. We actually had an Andre Pettipas episode where he was promoting his single, and I made sure that we talked about the fact that you did the exact same thing.
Appreciate that.
So we do know who the showboat of the two of you are, but I am curious what's going on with your solo music, because you did have the one song, and I know that you've written more since.
Yeah, I guess my solo stuff is a lot of just in the moment, what I'm feeling. I'm doing a country song right now. I'm going to release it on the 26th, which is exactly a month after going skydiving. Little hint on kind of what the song is about.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any photographs from that skydiving that you just did?
I have the video of me, like, dropping down.
Well, that's definitely going to be incorporated with the single, so I'm gonna leave that, and we'll let the fans wait for that to come out in the next few weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
And now last year at Giantstock, at the finale of your set, and anybody that's seen the trailers for this year, they'd see clips of you smashing your bass. And anyone that follows you online would see that the last, couple weeks, you've been doing reels where you've been painting a new one.
Yeah.
So that's not really a replacement for what you smashed last year because you've been performing all year.
Yeah. Exactly.
But what's going? You got a special prop for this year's Giantstock? This is brand new bass.
Well, honestly, the building bass things, that's been like a bit of a like thing in the back of my mind for a long time. So it's kind of a good excuse because, like, you know, if it didn't work out, at least it's there in case for Giantstock. I don't know. Like, maybe it'll be smashed, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe we should have like a vote.
Oh, I definitely think.
Who knows? I guess we got the main star coming in to do a little showcase.
Nice little preview for people, and you get a nice color schema going on.
Yeah. Tried to follow the Giantstock color scheme. If all the gearheads out there, it's a Gibson RD clone, which I always love those basses. Actually, Come On Teacher, the Joel Plaskett video, that's the first time I saw it, and I just fell in love with that bass since then. Stanfield's old bass player, Craig, he has like a couple of them, which Gene Simmons is on one, actually.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So a lot of history behind the selection there as well.
A lot of coincidences, yeah.
So you will be able to play this as well, then? It's not just something like that you're painting up to look pretty for the wall.
Oh, no.
It's definitely something we'll be hearing.
I put it through the first practice today, and I won't lie, it's shockingly electric. Just read into that as you will.
And so what's the next thing for you as far as, are you going to dive into another project doing some of these basses, or are you going to focus more on writing another song as a follow-up to this one coming out?
I probably should work more on my songwriting, but I don't know. I got a lot of thoughts about the next kit. I've been looking at like a double neck, like kind of like what Jimmy Page had there.
Cool.
12-string, 6-string. That'd be fun. I don't know if you know what a White Falcon is, but I'm kind of looking at that too. Maze uses it a lot, actually.
Okay.
Matt Maze, the headliner of Giantstock. It's the big white hollow body guitar. And I don't know, it's something like $350 on this site. A Pitbull guitar, by the way. Shout out to those guys from Australia. Saw it through there, and like $350 to risk like having your own versus like $4,000, I think is what a legit one is. No risk, no reward.
I like the whole do-it-yourself aesthetic of anything to do with bands, so the fact that you're able to do that with your instrument as well is quite impressive from this point of view.
Honestly, like, I don't know. I've always been a fan of like how it's made and things like that. I'm super addicted to like wanting to know how things work. And so to be able to get to that level of intimacy with my instrument has been really rewarding, honestly. Because not only do I have the knowledge of like, okay, this is how it's put together, I can also fix it myself. So I'm always looking to save a buck.
That is one thing yourself and the rest of your band as a whole that I've noticed over the last couple of years, seeing you guys around quite frequently. You always seem to be able to, on the fly, repair whatever's going wrong during your own set or somebody else's. Somebody always has an extra string or something around. I struggle sometimes to find my own relevancy. I usually have a little tickle trunk of small little gadgets with me as well, just in case when you guys don't have something on the ready. But you're always really quick to keep the show going.
Yeah, no, it's like just playing music for this long, you have to learn how to adapt. And big thanks to actually Kirsten, our regular sound guy, too, because he has this big tickle trunk of, like, everything. Like, there's probably lasers in there, honestly. I don't know. I haven't really looked in because you don't want to look in another man's tickle trunk.
Yeah, I that's one thing. I've hung out with him on the sidelines a few times, and I've never actually gotten to the point where we were sharing what each other was carrying around. We're similar role on some of the smaller gigs where we're just sitting off to the side, but I'm sure that his bag probably has a lot more high-end sound equipment floating around in it as well.
Absolutely. And he's a massive like DIY guy too. So you really don't know what's in there.
And now it's funny that you bring him up because it's kind of a segue into it. He's somebody that has toured with the band quite a bit because he's your regular sound guy. Now, for yourself, I've already had probably 5 or 6 recorded conversations with your brother about touring. But what are some memorable tour stories for yourself? And they don't have to be the horror stories that Andre's always pulling out of people. They can actually be a good story of something positive that happened.
Yeah. Honestly, on the road, I think my favorite memory, we were in Penticton. We were playing this like random bar there. Never been there in our lives. This is in BC, by the way. And a guy comes up. He's like, "Hey, I'm Coast from Monastery." It's like, so am I. So it ended up like literally the other side of the country. Ran into a cousin right away. And
Amazing.
So, to continue the story, later that night, he told us he had a friend that had, a little bit of knowledge of e-scooters. I don't know if you are familiar at all with the e-scooters.
I had a little bit of experience.
They're pretty fun.
Yeah.
And, we went on a little jaunt. I'll keep it at that. It was fun. We went to a dock and had a couple.
Late night city tours are always good on those things. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll keep it at that. There'll be a book in like 50 years. We can talk about it then.
I don't think anyone really has them. Montreal used to always have bicycles that you do the same idea, but I think everyone has flipped over to motorized scooters at this point.
Yeah, honestly, like Penticton was great. Sweden was awesome. The chafing was not fun. I guess that could be the tour part of the story. If you look at a Swedish Motel, there's a scene of me kind of walking funny. That's because I was walking all day, and I don't know, it was a sweaty day, I guess.
Is that why you're into the short shorts now?
Absolutely.
Avoiding any friction points of contact?
I don't know if you guys know this, but it gets hot on that stage. Anything to just let the body breathe.
And now I do want to make sure that since Giantstock is coming up, and people can see everything all around us thematically for this episode, there's also a lot of merchandise. I know your brother's been throwing it all over the province. A lot of pink sweaters getting around for the middle of the summer, which is amazing.
Perfect.
But have you personally got involved with any of this merchandise here yet? Are you going to be helping come up with some of the designs going forward, or are you going to be here putting some of those pieces together?
On the merchandise front, it gives Andre something to do with his time.
Yeah, I suppose.
So I don't want to take that from him.
He's
really.
the full-time musician of the group.
Exactly. Yeah.
And now yourself, you'll be transitioning to that yourself with maybe the next few months.
Possibly. Who knows? If anybody's got a job out there,
Yeah.
let me know. No, I don't know. The thing is I'm a bass player. I do like playing other things, and I have played like open mics and stuff like that. But I don't know if it's just the imposter syndrome thing or what, but it just feels so weird to be up on that stage alone.
It did. You're going back to your first single that you put out there, like that. Like it had that Foo Fighters kind of sound to it, but like that's a good solid single.
Thank you.
But you would, I suppose, in that case too, need to find a band to back you up, and the Giants are already taken.
The thing with music is it's really hard. And my personal philosophy is don't put yourself in too many, and like this is also playing with this band for almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to put myself into too many places because kind of want to put it all in the one pot and hope that strikes gold. So who knows, like maybe eventually there'll be shows, but I'm not really pushing for anything because I do want to dedicate my time to this project. And I just would, honestly, it'd feel weird going away from it myself, but that's just me.
Well, I definitely got to suggest to anyone that's out there that does follow your brother. He does a lot of solo shows as well. And more often than you would think, if you look around, you'll see Travis's face somewhere in the crowd. And that usually means with a little bit of encouragement, you can get Travis up at the mic.
Not much encouragement.
in the future, if we see Travis up there, instead of just doing a Tenacious D cover, I think that the audience should be encouraging you to play one of your originals. I'm sure Andre could figure out how to play backup for you on one of them anyway.
Might have to get practicing there.
Well, there you go.
That's another thing too with my own writing. It's a lot of production. I'm into the production side of things, you know. So I'll, with Reason, I don't think I've ever actually played that song.
Yeah.
But I enjoy the process of, I start off kind of like how we started with the studio, take the drums, lay them. Actually, it's bass a lot of the time. I'll just run with bass and be like, okay, let's do 8 minutes and chop it down. What sounds good? And go from there. But yeah, I don't know. So who knows what the future holds?
If somebody wants to follow you to find out about your single, I know you're a little modest as far as promoting it yourself. So should they be following the AP and the Giants online to find out more about that, or should they be looking for something from you directly in the next few weeks?
Yeah, if you want to check out Travis D ×3, that's Instagram. That's my home base for anything promotion, anything silly. I like to share a lot of memes. I think everybody needs a laugh, like at least once a day.
For sure.
I think that's a fair number.
And now for anyone out there too that's a fan of the band and they're already aware of who you are and they're maybe looking to you as an example of something they want to do you have any recommendations for anyone out there that is maybe picking up a bass or a guitar for the first time and thinking of putting a band together?
Just do it. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, when I started, I used a lot of, Guitar Pro. There's lots of programs out there. There's YouTube. YouTube wasn't really super a thing. Kind of was, but, it wasn't as big of a beast as it is now in terms of music. So there's definitely a lot of resources. It's really easy to get frustrated when you don't know what you're doing. Yeah. But honestly, if you just keep going with it, you'll be surprised, how far you can go.
It does seem to be common with most of the people that I talk to, specifically I would say independents as far as artists, that it's to go do it. Don't wait until it's perfect and don't wait until you figured everything out. That there's a certain point where you have to cut yourself off and just do it so that you start producing some content. And the rest of it, you learn organically, and the rest of it will fall into place, even though it can be really stressful when you have something in mind. But yeah, the just do it really seems. I guess Nike was onto something.
They really were. I don't know. It's just there's always going to be another project. I would never hold myself too long to one thing because it's just such a trapping with people. You need to be perfect. Yeah, everything you do, you're going to learn something new. So
yeah,
if you keep doing it, you're going to get to the spot you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm still looking for that spot, honestly. And I think that's one of the, at first it kind of was shitty, but I don't know. It's kind of like addiction a little bit. It's what am I going to learn this time? What am I going to do different? As long as you're willing to experiment and just kind of, I don't know, look at it like a scientist or something like that. You're going to find good things. There's going to be good days, going to be bad days. But if you keep going for it, there's going to be a lot more good days.
And now kind of going along those same thoughts too, music video wise, I've collaborated with you guys a little bit and definitely not doing the heavy lifting on my end at all, but it's been a learning experience for me to kind of see that from a different perspective. And similarly, things develop as you go along and you pick up things. I could probably do a lot better than I could have at the beginning. But now that I'm starting to dive deeper into it, I know that there's a lot of Giantstock material that's been floating around that you and your brother are going to be getting into, and I hope to get my fingers wet there a little bit too. So I'm going to pick your brain when we get off camera here because there's a few little things I would like to learn. And if anybody out here has enjoyed this conversation so far, I'm planning on doing one with every other member of your band. So for those that are watching, stay tuned. Watch for Travis's new single. Go out and get your tickets now for Giantstock. Pick up some merchandise so that you're all sporting some cool threads at the show. And we'll see all of you very, very soon.
It's been a blast, Darius.
Thanks.
I just wanted it to be awkward to end it. See y'all.